Last week, it was fantastic Fernandes. Last week, it was fantastic Fernandes against Manchester City. And today, it is fantastic Dorgu. Fantastic Patrick Dorgu. I mean, basically, who would have thought, basically at 4:30 p.m. UK time, that there was a statistic that was haunting the Premier League, obviously, and it was a number that every Arsenal opponent felt like, they were playing a game that was already lost. Like this was an interesting game, and Manchester United, went to the Arsenal, went to Emirates, Arsenal, and guess what? Man United defeated Arsenal, right? Now, this start actually was butchered within basically 90 minutes. And we could call this the impossible win, or how Carrick shattered the Emirates fortress, which we're going to do basically in another video, just basically breaking down all the details and the stats that went into that game. And basically, Man United fans are going to be reeling from, the win, basically winning against Arsenal, right? Now, the number that I was talking about at the beginning is 24-0, right? 24-0. And every single time Arsenal had scored the first goal this season, they won. 24 games, 24 victories, no draws, no collapses, no mercy. Like, especially when Lisandro Martinez inadvertently turned the ball into his own net in the 29th minute, the script was already written. The script was already, it felt like obviously that the Emirates, Man United were just going to collapse. It wasn't to be. The Emirates was bouncing, the North London Forever flags were flying and scarves were flying, and Manchester United looked like another victim of the Arsenal machine. But guess what? Someone forgot to tell Michael Carrick, someone forgot to tell Bryan Mbeumo, someone forgot to tell Matheus Cunha, and someone definitely forgot to tell Patrick Dorgu. Now, 90 minutes later, that unbeaten home record vanished, gone. The 7-point lead at the top is now down to 4, and Manchester United have just recorded back-to-back victories against the two best teams in the Premier League, the two best teams in the country, in Arsenal and Manchester City. That was a statement win. That was an interesting win. Now, basically, I'm just going to say welcome to the Takeaway Show. Welcome to another episode of United Talks podcast. We are just, reviewing we're not just reviewing the game. We're going to be breaking down certain details, and then we're going to be doing that in another video, how Michael Carrick dismantled the Arsenal. We're reviewing the shift in the tectonic plates of the English football, and we're diving deep into 5 massive takeaways, 3 bonus insights, and 3 positive spins that prove that Michael Carrick's revolution is about to kickstart, basically. Now, in truth, we're not getting carried away after just 2 games, and I will still say that after 3 games, we're not going to get carried away. After 4 games, we're not going to get carried. Maybe after 5, 6 games, we'll say, okay, this manager bounce is ongoing and it's continuous, because obviously a lot of Man United fans have been scarred by what has been happening in the club, as the case may be, as you could have it. Now, grab a coffee, grab a tea, grab a drink, whatever you want. Let's talk about how the Reds took over North London. First takeaway from this game is the Zubimendi Trap and the Mbeumo elite calm, basically. So we'll start with the equalizer, because that was what changed the psychology of the stadium. Arsenal were in total control until the 37th minute. Mind you, I said earlier they scored in the 29th minute, and then we scored ourselves in the 29th minute because they didn't score that goal. Then the trap was sprung basically after that. Michael Carrick's tactical blueprint from the game was built around a trigger. We didn't press William Saliba. We didn't press Gabriel Magalhaes. We definitely waited for the ball to go to Martin Zubimendi. Now, the moment, basically, the moment that the Spaniard received the ball, and basically with his back to goal, there was a back-to-back pass again. He was in the half turn, and Bruno Fernandes and Bryan Mbeumo pounced and closed the cage. Basically, just the angle of the press was just right. And Zubimendi's no-look pass was a disaster, but it was a disaster that was forced by Man United, put Man United's positioning, right? Now, let's talk about Bryan Mbeumo, right? Let's talk about Bryan Mbeumo. To have the composure to intercept, round the goalkeeper as good as David Raya, and to slot home under pressure of chasing Saliba, that is elite. Saliba was chasing him, and then you had the situation where Gabriel Magalhaes was coming from the other side. Boom. That was it. That was Bryan Mbeumo's 50th goal. 50th league goal. Obviously, to an extent, De Vrij recovered and kind of touched the ball back a little bit. And then Gabriel Magalhaes was actually trying to just, slide across. That was his second goal. His second, that was his 50th goal in the Premier League and probably his ninth goal in this season. Now, since he joined in the summer, I'm just going to explain to you what Mbeumo has done. He scored a goal against Manchester City. He scored a goal against Liverpool. He scored against Arsenal, and he scored against Tottenham Hotspur in a single season for Manchester United. Now we've been crying for a player that is a big game hunter, a big game player that can actually make things happen. And we have a predator, who thrives when the lights are the brightest. He's not had so many good games, but when you need him the most, he's come through. Which will take us to the number 2 takeaway, and that is, I've been talking about this guy for a while. Like, every time we do the takeaway show, I say bonus inside, Dorgu is evolving, Dorgu is becoming a better player, Dorgu is becoming an interesting player, Dorgu is becoming one of the best players we could have, and I think we could do it the Gareth Bale on this guy. Takeaway number 2, we need to talk about this. Patrick Dorgu. When we signed him, the debate was, is he a left back? Is he a left wing back? Oh, he's more of a left back than a left wing back. Why is Amorim playing him as a right wing back? And I did a player profile video, check it on the channel, where I talked about his positioning on the field of play, where he actually is his best position. He looked, he didn't look to cross. He didn't look to overlap. He didn't even look to, he didn't even look to try to find a player. He looked at the roof of the net and decided to relocate the goalpost. Now, that strike off the bar. I've watched that goal several times, and every time I watch it, I just smile. It reminds me of a certain player, certain number 3 in Patrice Evra. He gave a comment with regards to that Dorgu goal, and Dorgu replied him, saying he watched his goal. I don't know whether that's the original account, but he watched his goal against Bayern Munich. If you remember, Patrice Evra against Bayern in the Champions League. Bro, this guy hit that ball off the bar, off the turf, into the roof, and it was pure, unadulterated power. Like, to think about the fact that he had the ball, it bounced off his hip. I mean, there was that Dorgu, Fernandes, Dorgu, Bruno, and boom. Basically hit that ball, and he looked up, saw the couple of players. I think somebody was jumping. I think Declan Rice or so was just trying to lean into him. He just swung that in between the players. Gabriel Magalhaes as well was there, just stretched and took his face away, and boom, roof of the net, bro. Roof of the net, off the bar to the roof of the net, man. Like, right? But this tactical takeaway is how Dorgu is being used as an inverted player. That's the reason why we brought this in. Drifting inside, he's creating a 3-man midfield overload against Arsenal's pivot. During the game, I saw something where we were defending in a 4-3-3 at some point, or where we're in a 4-3-3 shape, just basically trying to get into that mid block to block off, Rice, Zubimendi, and basically one of the defenders. And we had Mbeumo, Dorgu, and Bruno doing that. And at some point, it became a 4-2-3-1. At some point, it became a 4-4-2. And at some point, it became a 4-1-4-1. And at some point, it became a 4-4-1-1. Different positioning around the field that you can see. And that's basically to tell you that it's not always 4-2-3-1 on paper. There's movements happening around, right? So Dorgu was drifting inside. If you have a 4-2-3-1, in that 3, Dorgu drifts inside and it makes it a box midfield at some point. We make sure to overlap, but that's another one for the tactical review with regards to how Michael Carrick defeated Mikel Arteta. Now he's no longer the defender that attacks. He's genuine goal scoring. He's a goal scoring threat, basically. Genuine goal scoring threat is becoming the most exciting young talent in the league. But Fernandes called him Ballon D'orgu on Instagram after the game. And while that's a joke, the potential is terrifyingly real. Basically, I've seen people basically say, that that Dorgu's ceiling is not that high and all of that. But you can see that he's improving and he's becoming that better. I mean, I think he scored almost 7 or 8 goals already this season in all competitions, basically both for club and country. He scored for his country already this season. He scored for his club for Man United this season as well. I think he's got 3 goals and 3 assists this season. I mean, that's good, man, for someone who's a left back that is becoming a left. I mean, he's played right wing back, left wing back, right back, left back. He's also played right midfield, left midfield. He's played right 10, left 10. He has not played at right wing. I think he's played at right wing, and then he's played at left wing as well. Like, that is absolutely amazing, man. Right? Absolutely amazing. Now we're going to talk about another one, the Casemiro effect. The Casemiro last dance professionalism. The news broke this week, obviously, that Casemiro was leaving the summer. In the summer. For many players, that's a cue to put the flip-flops and wait for the MLS or the Saudi contract to basically just chill and not do anything. But Casemiro's performance against Bukayo Saka was a masterclass in professional pride. You know, Saka, arguably, according to the Arsenal fans, the best winger in the world right now. I mean, how can the best winger have has played 276 games and has only scored 77 goals? Best winger? Yeah, we need to think about that. Think about that best winger. Yeah, it is what it is anyway. So we basically so like I said, masterclass in professional pride. Casemiro and Luke Shaw actually took out Saka. At some point, it also meant that Kobe Minu would also drop in that position as well, put him in a straight jacket. I mean, put Saka in a straight jacket. Every time Saka tried to drift inside, he had that chance only once, and that's when he beat Shaw. And that was the only time he dribbled past Shaw, right? Or Casa was there to block off, or Licha was there. I think at one point Casa was there to block off. So he wasn't sprinting. Casemiro wasn't sprinting. He was basically gliding, right? He was positioning. He was reading the game, 3 passes ahead. He finished the game with a 72.8% 1v1 success rate against one of the most prolific dribblers in Europe, as the case may be, according to the Arsenal fans. Now, if that is not the start of his farewell tour to his going out like a king, he's setting the standard for Kobe Menu, basically. And if I were Kobe Menu, I would be a sponge and I'll take a lot from him. He's showing the kids that you can play for the name on the back of the shirt. You don't play for the name on the back of the shirt. You play for the standards of the club. He sets it. His leadership is the first, is that first half storm. Basically, his leadership in the first half is that storm that you actually need to actually propel you to the next level. It was only the reason, like, we stayed in the game. He was the reason we stayed in the game. Let's not kid ourselves. Casemiro was a baller in the game, basically. Did really well, in that midfield as well. So like I said, his first half performance was the reason why we were in that game, basically. And then let's get to the next one. The next takeaway, number 4. Takeaway number 4, that is the Carrick chess moves. The Carrick effect, the Carrick-ball, right? The Carrick code, as we call it on this channel. That's takeaway number 4. It's about the dugout, basically. Michael Carrick is now 2 for 2 against the top 2. And also 2 for 2 against Mikel Arteta. What impressed me the most, 2 for 2 means he's played Arteta twice and he's won him twice, 3-2, scoring 6 goals and conceding 4. What impressed me the most was the starting 11. Was I impressed? Yeah. If stuck to the 11. It was a response to the Arsenal quadruple sub, basically. The subscript of Arsenal. Arteta threw the kitchen sink at us. We got Ben White, basically Gyökeres, Eze, and Merino. Most interim managers would have panicked and reverted to a back 5. Yeah, we saw that a couple times. I think even a back 6 at some point. But Michael Carrick didn't panic. Basically, at 2-1, 56 minutes, Arteta brought on the fire. Like, he brought on the fire through the kitchen sink. But Carrick didn't panic. They swapped Mbeumo for Matheus Cunha and brought on Šeško for the injured Dorgu at some point. He kept the attacking intent high, right? Even when Mikel Merino equalized in the 84th minute, and Arsenal thought that it was, that was it. Like, basically, Arsenal fans thought that, okay, we could get a draw, and then this will. Bro, the Emirates was the noise from the Emirates was deafening. Carrick was on the touchline, gesturing to the players to go, go, go. Basically, you could see him, literally. He didn't want to draw. He sensed the Arsenal nerves. He sensed it. He saw Mikel Arteta at some point standing with his assistant on the side, trying to think of what next to do and all of that. But it was, well, he was, that was a well coached game. I'm trying to get my words out because I'm so excited, right? It was well coached, basically, right? When he sensed the Arsenal nerves, the courage filtered down to the players, and that wasn't just a fluke. It was a coach calculated gamble that paid off because the manager believed in the squad's fitness and mentality. And it was there for all to see. It was there for all to see, right? We got the goal. And that is that is what will take me to takeaway number 5. The away day hoodoo that took over the game. Finally, this is takeaway number 5, right? That basically meant that United, who haven't won a Premier League game at the Emirates since 2017, nearly a decade of heartbreak, last minute VAR calls and a brave defeat. If you remember some of those VAR calls, at the Emirates where they put Højlund down, where they had the offside, denying if you remember the green and white jersey, denying a player like Garnacho and all of that. Like, that was tough, man. That was tough. Yeah, I need to get that green and white jersey again. It is nearly a decade of heartbreak. 2017, bro. 2017. Right? Remember those times where we can go to the big grounds. That's basically what we need to do. Can go to the big grounds and get points. Carrick had cleared the final psychological hurdle basically by winning this game. When we go to the big grounds, concede first, face the best set piece team in the world, and still walk away with 3 points. They had 9 corners. 9. That's victim mentality. That victim mentality has plunged United for years. It died the second Matheus Cunha's shot hit the back of the net. We're no longer trying to compete. We are competing. We are 4th in the table, 4 points behind City, and the rest of the league is looking over their shoulders. The aura is back. 4 points behind. No, City are 4 points behind Arsenal. Did I say 4 points behind City? Let's look at the total number of points. So behind City, we are 8 points behind City. Yeah, 8 points behind City and Aston Villa at the same points. And then we're 3rd in goals scoring. City have 47 goals. Arsenal have 42 and Man United have 41 goals. Arsenal have conceded 17. Man United have conceded 34. So we need to stop the goal concession, at least for the next 15 games. That, but yeah, man, lost the same number of games lost the same number of games as City and Aston Villa. One lost 5 games, but obviously both teams have drawn 4. Both teams have won 14, and we have won 10 and drawn 8. So those draws, if we could convert those draws to wins, will probably be on the same points as City, who are 46, and they are also. So we're 8 points behind City and 12 points behind Arsenal. Yeah, 12 points behind Arsenal. So it is what it is. Yeah. Now, like I said, basically this particular takeaway is focused on a particular player called Matheus Cunha. So taking away that away day victory, away day hoodoo that affects us every time we go to the Emirates. Matheus Cunha's shot hit the back of the net. Bro, man, that shot, man. You don't let Cunha come to that side of the field and hit you with a shot, man. You don't do that. You don't do that. Like I said, Michael Carrick has cleared that psychological hurdle. But then Cunha gave us the 3 points, and the victim mentality was put away the moment Cunha hit the ball in the back of the net. So we're no longer trying to compete. Like I said, we're competing, and the rest of the teams are basically looking over their shoulders in Man City and Aston Villa. Now, the next bit of analysis is with regards to the bonus rounds. So we're going to talk about, the three bonus takeaways or bonus insights as we look at it. Now, with the bonus rounds, there are 3 things that we might have missed. Basically, it's the St. Lomans being the real deal. The save from Zubimendi's header in the first half, the breathtaking save. Basically, if you remember that save, I have that clip on the socials. He's 23. He's a Belgian, and he plays with a calm of a 35-year-old. His distribution is the reason we can play out of the Arsenal press, and he's quite the wall, right? He's the quiet wall, as the case may be. Number two takeaway is Bruno Fernandes being the orchestrator of all things good that's happening to this team. He didn't score, but Bruno Fernandes has had 10 progressive passes and 2 pre-assists. You know, he was one that created that pass that led to the pass to Menu, that led to the goal that Cunha scored. Right. He's flourishing in Carrick's 4-2-3-1 because he's finally being allowed to be the playmaker rather than just being the frantic runner. Basically, instead of being the deep line playmaker, he's now the forward line playmaker, the attacking playmaker as well, helping us. And he also has very high defensive contributions every game. In this game, he had 10 defensive contributions. So kudos to Bruno for just being an all-rounder. Basically, if we could just conclude, he's an all-rounder. Number 3 is Arsenal set-piece crisis. For all the talk about set-piece coaches, Arsenal only scored through a scrappy Merino finish after a scramble. And United's organization on corners was the best it's been all season, basically finding ways to nullify Arsenal. Harry Maguire won every single aerial duel in our box, 100% basically, and we are finally trying to become a hard team to beat and to play against, right? So that's the third takeaway. The crisis is over. Now we're going to talk about the bright side, the positive spins and everything. First, we're going to talk about 3 positive spins from all of this, and that's the bright side of the game. And like I said, the first spin is that Champions League is the minimum. That's the positive spin from this game. With the way we've dispatched City and Arsenal, anything less than top 4 is now probably going to be a disappointment, because we're not going to face Arsenal or Man City again. The only teams we're going to face that are challenging us are Aston Villa, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Fulham, if you can add that. Right. Aston Villa, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Fulham. Tottenham are no match because Tottenham are sitting in 14th and basically 10 points behind us, so they're no match. They have to deal with their own hurdle. We face Fulham, and the next I think we face is Tottenham. And Tottenham already are going to be facing Manchester City in the next game, so it's going to be just crazy for them. Right. Why we will face Fulham, and then I think our next game after that is going to be Tottenham Hotspur. So they face City, and then they face United next. Let's look at the fixtures. The next round of fixtures for us. So we face Fulham, Tottenham, West Ham, Everton, and Crystal Palace. So it's going to be super interesting what the next 5 games will be. We can beat Fulham at Old Trafford, beat Tottenham at Old Trafford, and then go and get a win against West Ham away, and get a revenge against Everton away. That's like 5 straight wins added to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then Crystal Palace at Old Trafford, bro. Like, that's 5 straight wins plus the 2. That's 7 wins on the spin. There is a possibility that can happen, man. There is a possibility that can happen. These are teams we need to. We drew to Fulham, we should be able to get a win. We drew to Spurs, we should be able to get a win. We drew to West Ham. So the next 3 teams we face are teams we've drawn to, and we're lost to Everton. So we have to win the next couple games. It's going to be super interesting to see how those games pan out, basically. Anyway, so the positive spin, basically, that first positive spin is the Champions League minimum. Anything other than top 4 is going to be a disappointment. So we have the momentum, the fitness, and the tactical edge. The players are back from the AFCON, so it's going to be super interesting what we see in this one. Then positive spin number 2 is that the South American core is thriving. Cunha's winner was world-class. Martinez's stoppage time tackle was legendary. Despite the own goal, Licha was a warrior. Our South American contingent is bringing the dark arts and the flair that we need to win titles and to win games as well. And then positive spin number 3 is that the Ineos alignment. We can now see that, there's probably a plan in place. We still have to blame them for anything bad that's happening to this team. So if we don't win, then it's Ineos. If we win, probably it's Ineos as well. The signings of Mbeumo, Cunha, and Dorgu, basically these 3 signings for us from the summer and from last winter, from a year ago, because I think Dorgu will be 1 year in February, right, at United. They're all performing. I mean, the coaching choice, Carrick, well, is working, and probably Ruben Amorim's hard work is paying off right now. But for the first time in the post-Fergie era, the boardroom and the pitch are basically kind of speaking the same language. Obviously, they got Amorim out because he was not speaking their language, but hopefully this continues, right? And then the final take from all of this, basically, just to wrap everything up here, what does this mean? What does this all mean? Like this victory against Arsenal, what does it mean? It means that the days of Manchester United being a stepping stone or an easy 3 points for the big boys are over. We've played two big boys, and we actually played four big boys this season, and we've beaten all of them. We played Manchester City, we've beaten them this season. They beat us 3-0, we beat them 3-2-0. We played against Arsenal, they beat us 1-0, we beat them 3-2. We played against Chelsea, we beat them, I think we beat them 2-1 or 2-0, I can't remember that. And yeah, let's have a look. So we played against Chelsea, we beat Chelsea as well. We've played against played against Chelsea, we beat them 2-1. We played against Liverpool, beat them 2-1. So there was we have everything, we have our work cut out for us, like basically we have our work cut out. So yeah, so the days of being stepped over is over. Like Carrick has brought something back to the club that money can buy, the standard, basically. You saw it with Amad Diallo's social media post on Instagram. He says, talking to this guy, enjoy kid, that arrogance, not bravado, the belief that, you know, we belong to the top. And that's what's missing. Basically, we've just beaten league leaders on their own turf, ended their unbeaten run, and proved that we have the best young talents in the country. And if this is what interim looks like, I'm terrified and excited basically to see what permanent brings. People are already talking about Michael Carrick getting a permanent job, but if he can put together 15 consecutive wins after these first two, that will be 17 wins in a row. Oh man, that will be difficult to not give him that job, man. That will be difficult to not give him that. Anyway, like I said, we'll see what permanent brings. The Reds go marching on. The Reds go marching on from London, North London. Basically, we went there, took away their own red paint, and painted North London red as the United red. And all we can say is on to the next one. One game at a time. We're facing another London team, but this time around, not at Craven Cottage, but at Old Trafford. So, to you all the viewers, what's your take? What's your moment of the match? Was it the Cunha goal, the Cunha curl, that worldie, or the Dorgu rocket shot? Right? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Or maybe could it be the Mbeumo one take on versus, you know, the Arsenal defense and all of that? Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. Thank you for watching these takeaways with me. Sorry it's coming late. A whole lot been going on, like in the back end, man. Like my videos are kind of behind schedule, but it is what it is. We have to still put it out and put out content so we can actually have decent conversations. So if you want to join the community and join the family, please do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything as it relates to Manchester United. We're going to continue to bring consistent content to you every day. Trust me, we're not going to be missing out things. But like, especially with the live watch along, we didn't do that because we were at church during the time the game was on. But then we came back, watched the whole game so that we can be able to give you proper analysis. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. If you haven't already, please do like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything as it relates to Manchester United. I'll see you on the next one. Take care, goodbye, and God bless.